amigos.
Yeah, man. As he drinks the actual monster.
Hey, we ain't giving them no free.
Oh, yeah.
They got to pay us for that.
No free promo.
Look, they can't even see the damn thing.
Who we got today, fellas? John, it was 58.
I think it's 59.
59. Oh, yeah. That's a tough one.
We got a little Dat win.
That was 59.
Sure. A little Chauncey Golston.
Yeah, rookie Chauncey, right? Rookie Chauncey. Yeah.
Tack McKinley.
Tack.
I don't know about
what?
Anthony Hitchens.
Hitch. Shout out to Hitch.
Hitch a good one.
One of my all-time favorite college players, Ernie Sims.
Ernie, don't sleep on Ernie Sims. Come out of Florida State, man. He was the fastest linebacker on Madden. I used to always trade for him or get him in free agency.
I always put a lot of into whenever there's a new head coach, who their first draft pick is.
Yeah.
And when Rod Marinelli got hired as the Lions head coach, that was his first. They had like a top 10 pick, and they took Ernie Sims. And I was like, oh, this is gonna. He's a little undersized, but he was gonna hit. It did not hit.
He might have been one of the first, undersized, start to speed linebacker thing that won for a while. Then there was another kid. Was it Tevin something for the Jaguars?
Oh, Tevin. Was it
Telvin Smith?
Telvin. Yeah,
he
was another one that was like
220.
Yeah. I think he was like 220. He was small.
Yeah, he was taller, but he was pretty lean.
Yeah, no. Can't wait to get into this show today. Hey, quick housekeeping. I listened back to the show the other day, obviously fireworks, and it was a great show. And the debates are, the digs jokes are going to be coming in left and right. And you guys can call me everything. But I want to say this. I said on that stream, and I want to make sure I clear this up. I'd never want you guys not to watch. So I said that passion, things happen. But I want to say I'm never going to tell you guys not to watch because you guys, we do this for you all. So I said that in the moment. I'm taking full accountability. Shouldn't have said that at all. Like, you guys, we can't do this without you guys. Seriously. So just want to clear it up.
Foots just had a rush of emotions.
What a rush. I had to,
Shout out to Legion to do, baby.
I'm such a get back guy. I just got to own it that sometimes I let it get the best of me. So, and it's all good.
It made for good radio, though, or whatever you call this. Good podcast. It made for good podding. There we go.
John, I was getting ads on Twitter. I know the comment section from last week was crazy. I'm like, man, only if they knew that me and Sky talk like this all the time. So it's all love. This is literally what we do.
They got a glimpse of some of our back and forth during the week or during the game. Not during the games. During the games, I don't even like to talk to too many people. But they've got a glimpse of, when we go back and forth. Yeah.
Toxic is the funniest person I've ever met.
Hey,
John, a lot going on, but I gotta say the shirt, the hat combo, you locked in. So let's start there. No, in all seriousness, John, injury updates out the wazoo. And John, I need you to put your scout hat on. How these guys kind of moving around and anything else you heard. I know the coordinators talk today. Give us your full breakdown, John, and take your time.
Yeah, the biggest one injury-wise to me, just because we got a chance to talk to him today, was Kevontae Turpin. So, anytime you see a guy wearing a neck brace after a game is never a good thing. But from what he said today, it's not a neck thing at all. That he had the neck brace on it was a precautionary thing because of the kind of the feeling, the sensation he had in the back of his neck going into his shoulder. They just the training staff wanted to take all precautions, but I guess it's something from what he said that he kind of injured in week 1 and then just kind of aggravated it in the second half against the Giants. And so it's not a neck thing. It's more of like a shoulder back of like his trap where he said it feels like a stinger. Said that if 1 to 10 on the pain, with 10 being the most painful, he said it's probably about a 7 when it's aggravated. but he said he's not worried about that because he's like, I can play through that. The only reason he came out of the game is because they were worried it was neck related, which obviously you don't want to mess around with anything like that. But they found out that it's not neck related from what he said, that it is just kind of a stinger type thing, that it could just be pain management. And he certainly sounded like he was going to play on Sunday. He was a full participant in practice today. So I would expect to see Cavante Turpin out there against the Bears. Tyler Guyton, another guy that he was limited earlier in the week. He's dealing with a shoulder, but he was a full go today in practice. And then Trayvon Diggs, he had an illness. At least that's what they listed it as. So he didn't practice on earlier in the week, but he was at full go today.
Who was that?
Trayvon Diggs.
Oh.
Number 7 on the roster, number 1 in Foot's heart.
Are we sure Foots don't have
There's Johnny,
a little voodoo doll? But you put something in his drink, Foots.
Here,
I mean,
listen.
To be fair, Monday, I mean, this practice that the previous practice report was on was just a walkthrough. They were just in.
Yeah.
I mean, like some people pointed out in the picture that I posted of JW and Clowney, he wasn't even wearing cleats. Okay, so it was more of a walkthrough type thing. So, it's not. It's nothing serious with any of them. Deron Bland is the only one who didn't practice. We didn't see him at all on Monday, and then he was not out there at all today, and was listed as did not practice on the roster. Everything was pointing to him coming back against Green Bay. They was probably going to sit out 2 weeks, and that's what it seems like it's going to be. So unlikely to have Deron Bland in this game. So that would be it for those are the only 4 guys on the injury report. So I feel like that's pretty good news that you're only really out Deron Bland. And the
Bears totally different.
That is true. That is true. The Bears not going to have Jalen Johnson.
That's so big, bro. We'll talk
so
about
that. To me, that's their best defensive player. He's dealing with a groin injury. He didn't practice. He hasn't practiced at all this week. Grady Jarrett went from did not practice on Wednesday to a limited today. Let's see who else. DeAndre Swift was limited.
TJ Edwards, big one. He's probably not going to play.
He did not practice. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he re-aggravated, but he injured his hammy trying to chase down Gibbs, and he was getting picked on a little bit in that game. So, he's a starting guy. So if he doesn't play, that's another, I think, big loss for them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it for their main guys though. But yeah, they got 2, 4, 6, 9 guys on their injury report, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
like a bunch
6
of
or 7 didn't practice at all. So that's not a great sign. Usually most teams Thursday for a Sunday game, Thursday is the big practice. That's the one when you're really trying to figure things out. That's why even Cavante said, he was like, today was really the day that he wanted to see how his neck felt. And we talked to him after practice, and he said it felt pretty good. So I expect him to be out there. And other news stuff, I will say, let's get this rundown here. I had a couple notes about some other things in the locker room. Matt Eberflus talked today. Today was a coordinator's day, and he's gotten really good at saying absolutely nothing. And this is even before he was about to go face, his former team. So friends of mine that cover the Bears, reaching out to me, wanting to know what time his press conference would be and all that. And I'm just like, he's not going to say anything, but it's going to be 11:45 if you want to watch, whatever. So, nothing really there in terms of, about going back to Chicago or anything like that. I mean, probably the most interesting answer, I guess, was just when he was asked, what do you think the reaction is going to be on Sunday when he's there? And he said he hasn't even thought about it, which I find it very hard to believe, That's one of those things, like you talk the talk of like, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's another game.
But you were the head coach, bro. Stop it.
Yeah, you absolutely want. And you probably feel like, that you were kind of the guy let go and all the blame was placed on you. And he certainly deserves blame for things that happened, but it's probably also, there's a lot of other blame that needed to go around, and maybe even with some people that are still there. And so I'm sure he'll be pretty fired up for this one, but he's pretty happy to have JW and Clowney on the team. That's pretty clear from his interactions and talking about that, which makes sense. I'm kind of torn on the idea that, because again, he's not great on really revealing too much, other than there was one thing. I'll get that in a second, but I just believe that he probably thought he was going to have Micah Parsons this year, when he took the job. And then he was answering a question today about scheme and running different things and stuff like that. And just the way he answered it, talking about like, well, it has to change depending on what your personnel is. That's what really made me think about it. Cause it's like, whatever his plan was back in January, February, it obviously had to change, right before the season starts when you lose your most important player.
Before. Yeah.
Yeah. So
now that people say, not to cut you off, John, even though I just cut you off, that I do blame the front office for is and not blame, but it puts the staff in a bind because that's what I was like. You go in installing and thinking and believing that I'll be able to get rushed with 4. I can run certain things. And the coaching influence is probably like, oh, we'll make it work. But in the back of his mind, like you said, John, it's the same thing with him going back. Matt Eberflus is thinking about that game, and he's also thinking like, bro, you took an all-pro off my team. But continue, John.
And you have had a coach, the head coach, and several other key members in the organization telling you all the way up until that trade, he'll be out there. Jerry doesn't trade away star players. So there's a reason to believe, hey, I know this contract thing's going on, but week 1, I'm going to have this ultimate chess piece out there. And that's obviously didn't happen. So with Clowney, I don't expect him to play a ton, but maybe he can come in, play 10 snaps, rush the passer a little bit. He was out there today running around, looked pretty good, but we only get to watch like the first 15, 20 minutes. So it's hard to not look good in the first 15, 20 minutes of practice. But the one thing I will say about Eberflus that I thought was interesting, just going off what we talked about the other day, I did not get the sense at all from the way he answered a question about Kaiir Elam that he's nearly as down on him as others are. He was asked a question about that stat right now that's out there about how he's given up the most yards,
the yardage he's
of any corner in the NFL right now. Nick Harris from the Fort Worth Star Telegram asked about that. I think Nick tweeted it out earlier this week. And you could it was very obvious that Eberflus does not buy into that stat. And that's obviously because a lot of those issues, even though Elam's probably to blame on some, it's a combination of things with the communication and some other stuff. So he wasn't trying to put it all on him. So that was about it from those guys. Nothing really notable from the special teams coordinator or offensive coordinator, but that was pretty much it from today. A couple interesting quotes. Also, did you guys know that Tyler Booker, like literally, like this is crazy. Like his senior year of high school, quarterback was J.J. McCarthy. Goes to Alabama. Bryce Young, Jalen Milroe goes to the NFL. Dak Prescott. Like that's pretty wild. Also,
he played at IMG.
He played at IMG. Mm-hmm. So his high school, his senior year, his offensive line had him and J.C. Latham on it, and the quarterback was J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
And so they didn't lose a game from what he told me. So as they shouldn't have. Also, I always think about this with Tyler Booker too. Like, I don't know if you saw those quotes from JW and Clowney talking about how Cowboys players are spoiled playing getting to be in the star and being in that facility. Okay. Nobody's experienced better than Tyler Booker because you go from IMG to Alabama to the Cowboys. I mean, he has to be an expert on these facilities right now, but I bring him up to say, so with Cooper Beebe out, it looks like Tyler Booker is the number 3 emergency center. He was taking some snaps before practice started. Talking to him after practice, he does not want to do that unless it's an absolute emergency. So it's Brock Hoffman's your 1. If something happens to him, it's TJ Bass would come in then. And if something happened to TJ, then that's when you would go to Tyler Booker as your number 3 center.
Maybe we'll find an Andre Garrard again. Y'all remember that? Garrard was a guard at first, and then out of nowhere, he had to play center and even a couple Pro Bowls. But I do remember Garrard used to hike the ball over Tony's head a lot too. So
yeah. I don't understand how. I don't know. I guess BB's done it too, where to just pick that up on the fly seems like that's a lot.
That's tough,
especially when I'll always remember talking to, oh my God, what's his name? We played at North Carolina. Jonathan Cooper. Remember that guard? He was. Like
I remember him.
Arizona, top 10 pick. Yeah,
didn't pan out.
Right.
Oh, he came to Dallas.
I remember talking to him at his locker about. I don't remember if he wasn't wearing knee braces, and I was asking him about how like a lot of college guys wear those knee braces, and I just remember like the conversation went along the lines of like, yeah, you have to be so good on this level that you can't even take that 1 second that those knee braces would slow you down, or you won't hang in the NFL wearing stuff like that. Like it's that. So I don't understand how somebody like Tyler Booker would even want to snap a football and then block. Like he's probably got enough on his plate just blocking, let alone having to add that in when he's never been a center before.
No, I don't want to do that. That's a lot. That's a lot. That'll mess up communication.
I'm gonna tell y'all the story about that IMG team. I was on a coach's clinic with a gentleman by the name of Bobby Acosta and Noah Mazzoni. Noah was at Auburn for a little bit. He was an offensive coordinator. And this is off the record, but he was saying that JJ was this great leader when he was at IMG, but he would just completely just blank football-wise when it comes to scheme. So he was talking about making things easy for him. And that looks like how he's playing right now in Minnesota. So I was just, like you said, want to tie it all together. Like there's just times, even though they had a lot of hope in JJ, it's just, but that's crazy. Like that's a crazy deal with Booker. I will say Booker looks good.
Guy saying about the okay, what did you say? Did you say communication? What did you talk? Okay,
yeah, that'll be one of the worst things that'll happen if he has to be the center.
Oh,
right.
Sure.
So I was kind of surprised that Clayton Adams said today that there won't be any communication changes with Hoffman. That Dak's
I don't think I'm surprised.
And that there's not going to be any type of a drop off there. He doesn't think so. That kind of surprised me a little bit, just because, I mean, you've had Cooper Beebe, since Schottenheimer's been the head coach. Beebe's been the one playing center the entire time. Now I know Hoffman has been the clear number 2, and he's gotten reps there throughout camp and things. But yeah, he said that there's nothing that they would not call with Brock Hoffman being the center.
Yeah, he started a couple games at center. He's come in for a couple games at center. He has experience doing it. So I think that, and he has experience doing it with Dak. I think that's probably why Clayton's like, if I had to guess, I'd imagine Clayton probably went to Brock and Dak Prescott and said, hey, is there anything that needs to change here? He's like, no, we're good. I've been here for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it's been.
I think answer of the day. Last one I got. Favorite answer to the day.
Thank you.
CeeDee Lamb was asked about George Pickens and how he's been fitting in with the team, and CD said that man don't got to fit in. He stands out. GP is a hell of a player. There's plenty more excitement where that's coming from. So that I'm only bringing that up because nobody was saying that like a couple of months ago when we were asking these questions over and over again about adding in Pickens and stuff like that. And so it's pretty clear that
you went on mute, John. Here. Oh, there you go. Oh, I can actually, I could do it.
Did you mute him?
No, I didn't.
Not you, but sounds like it might be him.
It got unconnected. While we wait for John, a few things that John said that I really liked, and we'll actually had thoughts on, Skies. I'm with you. I feel with Brock, it's kind of like that's the one injury that I'm like, we'll be fine. You know what I mean? Will he be as good as BB? No, he can't move quite as well. Oh, John's back. Yeah, he can't move quite as well, but I think Brock embodies that. He's okay with being that backup center. He's prepared himself to be that backup center. So I feel good about that.
Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah, we got you. A little echo, but we got you.
Yeah, we got you perfectly, John.
Yeah, I think it switched over.
Yeah, we got your other mic. We probably got your.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
I think you're back now.
Yeah,
no, we got a wrong
mic.
Switch
over.
Okay,
but you guys go. I'll jump back in.
Got you. What I was gonna say was you want to put it on the 2 screen.
I got you.
Look crazy right here.
I'm telling you.
But I think having Brock Hoffman come in is not going to be a problem from a communication standpoint. And one thing I've realized with Clayton Adams, because he told us this, is that he will adjust if need be. Now, will he adjust right away in 1 week? Maybe not. Maybe it'll take a few weeks. But I remember him coming into Arizona stating, hey, we had a center that can move, that can pull, that can get out in space. So we stopped doing the wide zone stuff, and we started doing more things that were better for the center. Yeah.
I think you go right to duo, Sky. I think you go right to gap schemes. Brock is really good with.
I don't think you change much up of anything, maybe except for power. Like if they want to run some power stuff, you're definitely going to have to get. He's going to have to get some help from Booker and T Sizzle, because he's not going to be a mover. Definitely at center, he will not be a mover at center. And
I'll say this: this is the blessing of the schedule, because the 2 D lines you started with, those guys are heavy up front. Like, I mean, moving Dexter is tough. Although I will say, I honestly, Booker held his own at times. Like, I was impressed.
He had a great rep in overtime. I think it was it was overtime. If you go look at the rep where he got sacked by whoever the hell that backup was that walked Terrence Steele, go watch Tyler Booker against Dexter Lawrence. He had Dexter Lawrence doing the bunny hop.
For him to be from I don't want to say be from Connecticut. I don't want to insinuate that people from Connecticut are soft and them, but like for him to be from IMG to all these perfect quarterbacks, he's a gritty player. Like I get it. I see why they wanted him. He'll stand in there and fight. It was one rep where it was a stalemate.
Isn't Aaron Hernandez from Connecticut?
I knew.
I'm sorry.
Johnny.
You don't want that comparison.
John.
You don't want that
You
one.
bad boy.
Here's Johnny.
No, and I just think that he has a grit that, I mean, I'll wear the hat. I was wrong because as much as I wanted a weapon, but he
Toxic said
stabilizes
He
things.
was from Connecticut, John.
Oh my God, Toxic.
Yeah, we got some dark humor going on here today.
Toxic is the best commenter on the stream, and until somebody takes it from him, Sky, he's the champion.
Mo was trying to get him. Toxic wasn't here the other day. I think Mo was trying to get him.
Yeah, Mo's not really my style. Give me Toxic. No, I don't want to say that. Anyway,
let's move on.
John, there was a few things that I want to ask you. You said something about Clowney. And I guess I asked you this too, Sky. How do we feel about how many reps he plays?
Oh, John said he might get like 10 snaps, roughly.
I don't think there's any way he plays 10 snaps. He has to play more than that.
I think he gets more. Yeah.
I don't think that.
I'll say I think he'll go roughly 20 or so.
I was going 30, Sky.
30's a lot for him not to have camp. That's about a normal rotation. If you go look at some of the snaps counts of Izraku was roughly 20 plus, right? 25, roughly 26. I can see him creeping around 20 in this game because I think he'll eat at some of Easy E's. I think he'll eat at some of Fowler's. And I think in combination you could see around 20.
And what I was going to ask y'all is, who now take kind of a backseat, because I just haven't seen much juice from Fowler, but Sam Williams, I mean, when it comes to pass rush sets for me, I still don't see much of a plan.
No, he just doesn't have one. He's going to try to beat you running through your chest, and then I think as his legs get up under him, he'll try to use that speed to close. But yeah, he doesn't. He's not a nuanced pass rusher.
Ironically, I think that's a problem, bro.
You don't think there's any plan at all?
I don't, John. No, John. You know what's sad? He's sometimes taking an inside path when he shouldn't be, and it's like that. Some of those times when these quarterbacks are breaking contain, well, I'll say in the Philly game for sure. I'm like, Sam, you can, and well, Fowler did it too. Why are you guys going inside?
It's Rocco too. He kept trying to spin inside on Maliata.
Yeah, and they washed him, and Jalen would just escape.
Speaking of which, shouts out to Double A Ron. He hit me up and put me hip to this. If you listen to their, I forget what it's called, with Brad Sham and Chrissy Scales, I believe it is. There's like a show they do. As Rocco hinted at that they're being asked to basically mush rush because of the escapability of these quarterbacks, which we kind of alluded to right the other day. And I loved Brad Sham's response. So Brad Sham goes, because he said, there's a bunch of mobile quarterbacks. And Brad Sham said, well, if you look at the schedule, they're all mobile. So you're going to tell me we're just going to not try to get to the quarterback? And, my response to that was, okay, I get it. But sometimes you just have to beat your guy. Like, you just have to win and beat your guy and get to the quarterback. If we're going to muddle rush all year because we're playing a bunch of scramble quarterbacks, well, they're just going to sit back there then. I mean,
this quarterback you play this weekend can get out the pocket,
and yes,
a lot better than the one that you just played.
The first two, better than both.
He's a better athlete.
He's a better athlete than both, and he's faster. He's more dangerous with his legs, and that's not knocking Hurts' legs. It's just that he's faster, and then you don't have a fast defense right now.
Yeah.
You lost your best speed, and then at the second level, you don't have it collectively because you're not putting out, the Maris Leofouls of the world. So yeah, if they don't get home, Caleb can kill you with his legs, and we'll break down the Bears in a second.
Yeah, in the second half of our, we'll get to it, but that's good stuff, Sky. I also wanted to ask you guys the panel question, and then we'll talk. This is just in general, right? This isn't about the Bears, but I want to give a shout out to Ahmad. I met a young brother named Ahmad, and he watches our channel and he watches our show faithfully. So I met him in person, and he said, Foots, can you ask the panel this? Great dude, knows ball. He said, what if Reddy Stewart is so good in the slot that you now move Deron Bland to the edge and you take either I don't want to get into the dig stuff, but let's say you take you take I'm just trolling. But let's say Sky, you take Elam off the field. What would you guys think about that?
You know, Reddy Stewart to me was your best defense. We talked about this. You can tell he has the most understanding of this scheme because he played in this scheme for an entire year. He had an entire off season training camp under this scheme. He's the most versed at it, and you could tell he was the one kind of, and they're responsible for a lot of the communication there too in the slot. So I don't think it's a terrible idea if he puts back-to-back showings, because Kyer Elam is what he is. You know, this isn't the training camp Kyer Elam right now. And I know John said that, you know, Flus was probably trying to defend him a bit, as he should, and because in my opinion, and I know Foots, we fought about this. Yes, some of the corners and their responsibilities weren't there, but I think majority of that was the safeties weren't either. But I think most of that was because of miscommunication. Either way, you know, whether it's the corner safety, there was a miscommunication was running rampant in that backfield, and I don't necessarily know how that changes in 1 week, because you're putting back a safety back there that has bad eyes, bad vision, does not know how to play that far back. And then you have corners that are not versed in playing this much zone. And the one person that you do have is Reddy Stewart. So I don't know if it's a bad idea to go ahead and move Bland out, because I'd rather take Bland's ability, his mental ability, his physical ability over Elam's, both of those, with a Reddy Stewart who knows this scheme a little bit better.
Yeah, I'd have to see a little bit more time, because if Trayvon Diggs plays like he did in that game, then everything's on the table, you know. But if that's a health issue and he gets better, then and he's playing better, then yeah, maybe that's a possibility. Then if he's playing better, they ultimately, I think, will be what it was going to be going into the year, where it'll be Diggs and Kyer on the outside and Bland on the inside. But if one of them isn't playing well, then I'm open to that idea. I think they would be too. I mean, it's one thing, like, we're not talking about them, you know, losing a game that, you know, whatever, late in the season or something. We're talking about giving up just explosive play after explosive play to a team that really shouldn't have half those explosive plays. So it's so bad that I think anything would be on the table if what we saw last Sunday continues.
Yeah, and to be fair to Diggs, it was Kyer Elam gave up a explosive when in a time where you shouldn't have given up. Like, there's no way mentally you let this guy get behind you, him or the safety.
I'm about to say
runs right behind you.
As a safety, man, because that's not play. That's elementary. You are the last line of defense, and especially with 33 seconds, and especially, you know, with the game on the line before the 33 seconds, like you just cannot allow that to happen, man. Yeah. Flirt at 24. How are we allowing, you know, people behind us on you know, it just was a bad day of communication. And again, kudos to Dayball. I think he outcoached Flus in this game. He ran a lot of Tampa 2 beaters, a whole lot of cover 2 beaters that tripped up the linebackers, that tripped up the safeties who don't have good eyes, except Malik Hooker, I think, knows what he's doing back there, in my opinion. But when one person doesn't, it makes everybody look like they don't know what the hell they're doing. So
shout out to Dayball. You're absolutely right. When I watched the film, Sky, he's running. What he was doing it was smart. He was running those whole shots at them to hold their eyes, and then running seams like everything was going to be attacked. Like that Don Coryell, you're going to be attacked deep.
And he'd have most of the time it was a tight end. He would just have a tight end run right at the middle guy and sit down. Because what it would do is it would grab either, like, it kept grabbing Dono's eyes. He has bad eyes, dude. It kept grabbing Dono's eyes, but the first big play, it grabbed Murray's, and that happened a few times. So, you know, shouts out to Dayball. He had a fantastic game plan.
Yeah, and you know it's crazy, Sky. You're right. Outside, but now Murray. You said something last show too. Like I said, Murray and Sanborn should probably. You were right. They should probably switch, because Murray played good outside of that play. He was the fastest to the ball.
I wouldn't switch them. I would put Maris at middle
and take Sanborn off the field.
Sanborn would be my Sam. I let him play off ball, because if we're going to play this much cover 2 and ask these linebackers to drop deep. Now, if they're going to drop in the shallow hooks, I think both Murray and Sanborn did that fine. But if they're going to be tasked to drop deep, I think that's where you want your best cover guy. And to me, the best cover guy is Maris.
And to John's point, one thing about Murray, he didn't run himself block and he looked fast. Like
he looked much more comfortable in this game.
His speed. We don't have a fast team, John. You're right. Like there were times where I will give Quinn this. We ran to the ball. And so if you want to play that way, I'm with you, Scott. Let's go, Maris. Let's do those things. Hey, you know what? I want to talk about sleeper, and I want to talk about all the football that's happening right now. Thursday night football is happening right now. Just all the games. They're talking about an international game Sunday morning. It just feels like we get football at an enormous rate, Sky, from now till February, and Sleeper has you covered. The app. Let me ask you, have you guys actually played around with the app, fellas?
I've had Sleeper multiple different seasons from my dynasty league. So yeah,
John,
this was before they had the pick'ems, right? The more or less. So this is kind of cool that they're starting.
That more or less is so sweet. John, have you tried the more or less?
I have no.
You have to, John. I mean, this isn't even me just selling it. Obviously, thank you, Sleeper.
John, that's where you're supposed to just be like, yeah.
I mean, this is what you get. I'm just not a bullshitter. I am who I am. So,
hey, Sleeper, John's sleeping, but it's cool. We're gonna wake him up.
John's busy during the NFL season. Okay, I'll check it out. I'll get to it. I wish you guys could see like the list of things that most people would be like, "Why didn't you take care of this? Why didn't you take care of this?" Like, I'll give you one. I haven't completed all of my expenses for training camp. Like I've been busy, man. I got stuff going on here.
Hey, that's why we call it Here's Johnny, because he's busy getting all the action and news we do.
Hey, you guys better be thankful you guys get John, man. Like, to get him straight from what we say is Sky, from the brick, from the locker room to the bottle. He comes right. We don't give him no cut. This is what you get. But Sleeper, man, that more or less tool and just all the parlays you can add. They have highlights literally on the app. It's always it's just a clean app. So Sleeper, thank you for sponsoring this channel. Use code HMA, get $100 deposit, match up to $100. Sleeper, thank you. Scott, let's get into our what does the film say? Still, I hope you watched the Bears offense because I really focus on their defense, but we get flip if you want, and then John will have you jump in. Did you watch?
I watched both. Offense? Yep. Yes. Yesterday I covered the defense, and then today I did my study for the offense for tomorrow's morning show. So I'm fresh off the Bears offense.
All right. So Scott, tell us about the Bears offense, and then I'll take the defense.
I won't keep y'all too long here. But let me read this quote real quick from Ben Johnson because obviously we know this Bears offense.
Oh, I'm glad you're getting to that. That.
Yeah, it's all about Caleb, right? Caleb Williams is what is going to make this offense go or not go. And, there's two different versions of Caleb Williams, if you will, over the first 2 weeks. This is Ben Johnson. He said, quote, "I did see significant growth. It's not perfect yet. There's still a number of plays where our eyes aren't quite in the right position, and we're holding on to the ball just a tick longer than what we're coaching. But I did see tremendous growth in terms of going through the progression." There's a lot more there, but I wanted to just hold on to that part right there because we mentioned this the other day. You play some veteran quarterbacks in Jalen Hurts and the super veteran quarterback that actually throws the ball in Russell Wilson. So when you play a lot of this zone stuff, he can easily scan the field as long as the pass rush can hold up. What I'm very interested to see is how does this look with a quarterback who is not normally inclined to play on structure, right? He's normally not inclined to play in structure unless he does, which is usually the first scripted plays. And that's where the Bears offense has looked its best, in my opinion, is this first scripted plays. They are number 5, I think, in the NFL in first quarter points. They scored a touchdown on their first possessions in both games, but it hasn't always been clean after that because you have Caleb Williams, who has, in my opinion, he's been more dangerous with his ability to move around than he has with his ability to read progressions. And one more part in this quote he brought up was there was a few times where we had to get to our number 3 or 4 in the read, and he was trusting his feet and his footwork and was able to get there. But I do think he did better from week 1 to week 2. So it's clear he's still working at trying to get from 1 and 2 to 2 to 3, 3 to 4. If that's the case, I don't know yet. I'm wondering, will dropping 7, 8 guys back in the defense trip him up a little bit? And will him holding the ball longer not necessarily be a bad thing for Dallas if they can get home? Because that's the problem. If you can't get home, he'll just take off or he'll find a different window and wait for that second route to develop. And I mean by second route, Cowboys Nation is receiver, X receiver is running maybe a over route, but he sees a scramble. Now we're playing scramble drill and he gets open. And Caleb likes to make plays off structure. So I think it's going to be about tripping him up mentally and getting some pressure on him. We did some numbers on Twitter about the pressure and about when he's not pressured. So you got to heat him up, man.
Can I ask you a question, Sky?
Yep.
We went into last week and we said the Giants O-line, no way we should be able to get home.
Yep.
What did you see from the O-line with the Bears? I have my questions about Wright. What did you see?
Better offensive line than the Giants from going from week 1 to week 2. The problem is, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, my confidence is shot. I can't no longer just be like, oh man, terrible offensive line, we should go in there. Nope. You normally, if you had one of those type of pass rushes, yeah, I'm sitting here with the utmost. I'm saying it with my chest. Oh man, we're gonna tear that offensive line up. But realistically, after what we saw last week, they weren't able to do that consistently. I got to say, look, man, they got to go prove it to me. There's ability. Jackson, the tackles in general, Jackson and Wright, you can get off on them if you can. I think they're better on the interior. They got a guy from the Rams. They got Tooney,
the Chiefs, Joe Tooney.
Yeah, the center is a little light in the butt, but he's again, you can hide the center a little bit. I like our interior every week. It's going to be tough for me not to like our interior defense line over whoever you're going up against, but that is their best. Their best is on the interior. Their weakest is on the tackles. Look, Foots, I want to say they can go do it, but they have to go do it because they didn't do it last week against the third string of the New York Giants.
Yeah. John, you got anything? I got a few more questions.
In terms of on the Bears offense?
Yeah.
I'm big on just keeping Caleb in the pocket. Even if you don't sack him, just don't let him get out and extend plays because when everything – his entire time in college that's when he's at his best. That's when he's made some of his biggest highlight plays. I'm talking like when he gets out of the pocket and you think he's about to get hit for like a 15-yard loss and then he just wings it across the field. Now, it's obviously been harder to do that in the NFL level, and I think he's finding that out. But the big thing I keep coming back to is just we talked about over and over again, and obviously they did too, how Malik Neighbors is the number one thing that you worry about over there, and they let him go off. And so there's a part of me that wonders, okay, clearly Caleb likes throwing to Rome Odunze. Can you take him away? Like, that's his guy. Like, he's got, I think, 3 touchdowns. That's his guy that if he can go to anybody, it's going to be to Rome. And so can you take him away? Force him to throw to Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland. He hasn't shown that he's had a great rapport with those guys. Odunze is the one that he could be, if the defense isn't any better, then he's the one that could potentially have the Malik Neighbors game in this one.
Well, John, Malik Neighbors, but Wan'Dale Robinson also had a game.
Yeah.
So DJ Moore, he hasn't had a great start, but DJ Moore is a problem.
Yeah.
Like, DJ Moore was a legitimate name. If we didn't go get George Pickens, I'd have got DJ Moore. If it looked like it looked last week, it won't just be Rome. It'll be DJ Moore going off on you.
Well, and then there's, even though it hasn't clicked yet, but there's Luther Burden too. That hasn't worked out, but obviously him and Loveland, I talked about earlier, Rod Marinelli going defense with his first draft pick as a head coach. It's very clear when Ben Johnson took over, he went and got some pieces on the offensive line, and then he used high draft picks on offensive weapons. And so I really think this is a good time to be playing this Bears offense because they don't look like everything's together and smooth, and maybe it gets that way later in the year. But then the other part of it too is that there is a chance that weather could be a factor in this game. If you're a Cowboys fan, you don't want the weather to be a factor. You want this to be a clean track, no wind, sunny. You want to be able to throw the ball all over on them. And I don't think that you want it to be a sloppy type game. So
hold on, no, wait. I'm gonna push back on you, man. Me and John about to fight it now. I'm just playing. For the first time in a long
a lot about this Bears team. I'm ready. Let's go.
For first time in a long time, I'm actually going to go the other way around on this because I do think the Cowboys have a weather I don't say proof, but a weather type of offense now because we can run the ball and we can run the ball in a variety of different ways. And we got a running back, that's physical in that sense.
He'll feed off of this type of
feed
game.
off of that. We have a play action pass game in that. I actually, for the first time in a long time, think Dallas is equipped to play in some weather, whereas I don't trust DeAndre Swift or Ben Johnson right now early. Like you said, I want to get to that part too. This is a great time to be attacking them because I don't think he has a grasp just yet on how to get everybody involved. DJ Moore is not involved. They run 12 personnel, top 5 in the league, and Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet kind of afterthoughts. DeAndre Swift can get busy, but he hasn't gotten busy. So if it wants to get muddied up, I like our interior. I like our defensive line over their defensive line. So I'll take it.
My response to that would be, I really don't even care about when the Bears have the ball. I'm going to the other side. And the reason why I say it is because there's been 2 NFC Offensive Players of the Week, and there's been 2 weeks of football, and both of them been the quarterbacks that played against the Chicago Bears. Your quarterback is playing as well as he's ever played. You want it to be nice and clean air out there and allowing him to sling it on this defense. Also, those guys did it when there was at least Jalen Johnson on the field. He won't be on the field. So you want Dak Prescott's ability to throw for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns against him because it's possible.
It's possible. They're also, or at least last week, atrocious against the ground. 177 yards allowed last week. Granted,
we about to talk about the defense.
Yeah.
Dynamic duo there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But if you go look at how the Detroit Lions attack them schematically, the Cowboys do some similar things now. Not back in the day, but now they do. So I'm not saying I want it to rain. Don't get me wrong, because we got the better quarterback, we got the better weapons. But if it does, I'd like to see it. If it does happen, because I think that we would be able on our side of the ball, we're more equipped to handle it than they are.
I was just going to piggyback on what John said about Rome Odunze. And it does look like he's moving into that number 1 role in Caleb's favorite target. And I think, Sky, the interesting thing about DJ Moore, he didn't have a good year last year. And some of that was Caleb's rookie year. But again, this defense has to show us. The Cowboys defense has to show us that versus the team who's going to scheme it up, which when Caleb, what I saw on film, and then I'll get to the defense, what I saw on film is when the game, and that's what I was going to ask you, Sky, and this is my last, because you did. Yeah,
you're not going to need more than 3 minutes to talk about the Bears
defense. The defense, fact, so yeah, let's stay here.
It's as bad as there is. Seriously, their best defender is the West.
Scott, didn't I tell you before the stream, John, it's crazy you said it. I said, as of now, this is the worst defense that the Cowboys will play. Now, I don't know what it's going to look like at the end of the year, but this is the worst, and it's for a number of reasons. But Sky, do you think that Caleb was good because they were down big, or was it because early on in that game,
Caleb was good?
I mean, no. Well, he made some throws in the Detroit game. Like people
at the end of the game.
At the end of the game, right? And then early on, he kind of did some things, but I think you hit it on the head about.
No, he was good early against Detroit.
Yeah, in fact, that's what I'm saying.
The scripted plays.
Scripted, then the middle happened, which was not good. And then at the end, when the game was out of reach,
I about to say, brother, the game was 43-13 or whatever at one point. No one cares. I mean, I'm sorry, no one cares about when you're down that much in the fourth quarter. I don't care how he looked. I want to know how he looked when the game was still in hand. And if you go watch Minnesota in the first quarter and Detroit in the first quarter, you saw, again, first 15 scripted. Ben Johnson's one of the best in the world at the scripted plays. But what happens when you get punched in the mouth for Caleb? He's still a rookie. And you said something, John, I want to go back to.
He's second-year player.
I'm sorry. He's still a young player is what I'm getting at. But a rookie in this offense, in an offensive scheme where, again, John said this is a good time to catch this offense. Excellent time, because it's a brand new offense that Caleb has never done. He's done nothing like this in his life. Nothing like this. They want to get under center. I don't even know if Ben is really all that enamored with Caleb Williams. He has an amazing arm. Mentally,
Ben likes to live under center.
Yeah, and this is not Caleb's game. Yeah. So I don't know if this marriage is going to work just yet. And I think there is some you hear it. I mean, I don't mean to go into detail.
I don't know how he takes that job if he doesn't like Caleb.
Well, the problem is this, John. He's already calling. Not to cut you off, Sky, but I was going to ask Sky. John, and I ask you, he's already calling the team out for not practicing, which is a red flag to me because I don't know if I'm a coach going to the media and saying that. I just don't. That's just my opinion.
Bill Parcells always did it.
But remember,
Bill
we live in
Parcells
this
kind of
world.
a hard ass though. Nobody's buying that Ben Johnson is a hard ass.
No. But I hear he is though. I hear
no. He can act that way. He's not. Though. He got his job because he schemes up great plays. He has not got his job.
I'm not saying he got his job.
No. I know, but that stuff matters. That perception matters. And you're going into Chicago where, let's be honest, it's been a while that they've been down. That they're almost like the Giants a little bit, where it's like there was a time when they were really good, but they're in a spot now where it's like you almost don't even trust any move that they make, that they even know what they're doing. You know,
but you're a head coach. You do have to put your foot down sometimes. You
but
do
I don't
have
know
to be that guy.
Publicly, I think
like you can publicly. I wouldn't have done this, guy.
That don't bother me. That doesn't. I get it bothers you guys. It don't bother me.
It doesn't bother. It doesn't bother me. It's more.
I can't remember what I was getting at.
So, but before you make your point, Sky,
the problem is you cut it off. It was a good one too.
Here's my issue is it doesn't bother the old school football guys and us, but these new players that argue with Twitter guys and argue with me and this and that. The problem is when you go to the media and you already haven't won a game and you say you're not practicing like a championship team, or, hell, do we look at Caleb? Who's going to galvanize that locker room? Like, who's the leader to be like, y'all just stay locked in?
Who lasts longer on that team?
I say Ben.
So I think it was when you said something
I know it's tricky, right?
All right.
I think it's when you said something about you don't know if he takes a job if he likes Caleb. And I was trying to get at, if you listen to Ben Johnson in his press conference, you hear him talk about Caleb the person. I don't think he knew Caleb the person before he got there. He knew Caleb the arm talent. He knew Caleb.
That's a whole nother.
But then when you get in that building, because he's like, hey man, we had to loosen Caleb up. I have to loosen him up sometimes because he did. And I'm like, oh, he's talking about personality traits. And until you are with someone every single day, you don't really know their personality traits that well. And I don't know if that's meshing just yet. You hope, for their sake, you hope that does come together, but I don't think that necessarily was a problem in Detroit. And you also had 3, 4, 5, whatever it's been, 4 years in that offense with all those players playing together for that long period of time, which all goes back to what I was saying about John saying it's the perfect time. This is so fresh and new for everyone that this is going to be a week-to-week thing for quite some time of Caleb figuring things out with Ben Johnson, Ben Johnson figuring out what Caleb does, Ben Johnson figuring out what this offensive line can do, and Rome and DJ. There's a lot that he has, because these aren't veterans. Rome's a rookie. Rome's a second-year player. DJ Moore is a veteran, but he's a frustrated veteran. I don't want to be there. Caleb Williams, a second-year player, first year in the system. I think the advantage is Dallas when it comes to the know-how right now. They don't know how to run this offense. And I think Ben is very frustrated, but he can't go overboard with it. But he's expressing it clearly, publicly.
Well, especially the other thing is that it's the way that they've lost these games. Yeah. If they had lost these games 35-31, 45-40, I think his thing being offense, you could at least sell, okay, well, they just got to fix the defense. Look at this defense on paper. It sucks, whatever. But when his offense doesn't really look that good, as you pointed out, outside of just the scripted plays early in games, that doesn't look great for him, So I'm sure that's a factor as well. And it will only get worse if they lose this game on Sunday. So
I wonder if this could turn into like a Rams McVay situation where it was like, look, I'm topped out with what I can do with golf. It doesn't work. And then they move on from him. And that would be
wild.
That's an extreme.
Can I tell y'all something?
After 2 years,
I watched the top 10 pick get traded the very next year.
Can I tell you
quarterback? So I don't know.
I had a conversation with a buddy of mine about Caleb, and he brought up, and this is Chad, don't attack me, but him crying. He cried and went in his mom's arms after they played. I want to say it was Minnesota in college.
Very public. And
I just think that while we we're older, we can accept certain things. That is not going to that type of emotion will not fly when you're leading grown men. Like, it just won't. And to your point, Sky,
you think that's bigger than the fingernail painting?
I think it all. You know what, John? It's all one. It's all
let me just say
sure.
real quick, kind of go that my thoughts on that go just like very similar to what I said about Ben Johnson. But if on Sundays you are slinging that thing, nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Like it's because he hasn't looked good, so then that stuff gets brought back up. But if he looks great out there and he's throwing the ball all over the place, like the one thing that I noticed, I don't know if you guys saw this, like people were ripping him for wearing that gray undershirt in the opener. And I'm just like, if he would have thrown for 350 and 3 touchdowns,
it would have been a fashion
half of
statement.
Chicago would have been wearing that shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, winning cures all,
Yeah.
but at this position, boy, it matters your relationship with the rest of the organization. I mean, the Bears should know. Jay Cutler, one of the most talented throwers of the football I've ever seen in my life. Jay Cutler had success in Chicago. People forget, but long term, that shit might work for a year because hey, we're winning, but it won't be sustainable if you are constantly being the non-leader when you're expected to be. If you're clashing with your quarterback or front office, clashing with teammates, or just not giving an F, right? Because we knew Jay Cutler just did not give an F. He literally played like that too. I'm not saying Caleb is Jay Cutler, but what I'm getting at is if he does not learn how to lead or be a leader, or at the very least absorb what other leaders are saying and try to be better from a personality standpoint, would not shock me if Ben goes to polls and I'm not saying this year, maybe next year, and like, hey, look, it doesn't work. We tried it. It's your first round pick. If you want to keep me here, this isn't going to work.
And I wouldn't be mad at Ben.
Do XYZ, and not only can he not do XYZ, but then the players are coming to me. They're not feeling this. So don't be surprised, man.
And that's so bad. Like honestly, I know that this doesn't matter X's and O's wise, but just my knowledge of that franchise, if that does happen, the only thing I will believe is that the franchise is just cursed at quarterback.
I mean, aren't they?
So
I know, but I thought Caleb Williams would end that. And I'm not saying that he would have been an MVP type guy, but I thought that he would go and be a top 10 quarterback, maybe it's, like Dak, where it's like 8 to 12, somewhere in there. But
let me read something real quick, guys. I'm glad you're saying this, John. And shout out to you, Lando. This is on March 17, 2024. I ranked Drake May. Caleb is my second quarterback. Michael Penix, Jaden Daniels was my fourth. And so, but this is the notes that I wrote down. It's crazy that you said this, Sky, about the creator in him. The best creator at quarterback, elite in the pocket, can make every throw, but his biggest issue is he tries to manufacture plays all the time. So he's always trying to manufacture a big play.
Because he's really good at it, though.
But so hold on. Too many times, John, is on right here. Too many times he will pass up the big check. He will pass up the check down to go to throw the ball in the double coverage, and the fumbles and the big play chasing always scares me.
So you say that, but I'm telling you, man, like I was surprised that he did this, but that opener or the first game this season, like Troy Aikman was pointing out about like how he wasn't going for, there was bigger stuff open down the field.
That's Ben, John. That has been.
No, I know. But I'm just saying that it was interesting that he was
because he's going the complete other side of the spectrum.
Yeah. And they were
I hate when players do that.
that.
Facts. So that, John, I'm glad you. So what happens with players, and that's why quarterback is so tricky. Like, bro. So John, you're absolutely right.
Why I found that interesting, real quick, is because football is it's so difficult to really watch it on TV. So when he was saying that, he's seeing the whole field. Whereas when you're at the game, it's easier to notice some of that stuff. Now you miss stuff too if you're at the game. You're not like listening. Like you don't know why Jalen Carter is being ushered off the field before the game even starts. So you do have to have some TV in there. But in terms of watching like plays down the field in the passing game, like when he was saying that, I'm like, well, we don't get to see that part of the field until they showed that angle. And then they came back and they were like, yeah, this is open down here. This is there. But when you're watching the TV copy, you don't see any of that. You see him taking safe throws or whatever. But those were the times he was moving the ball.
The best quarterbacks, the most trustworthy quarterbacks can make the layups. Like this game at that position is really, you hit more layups than you hit the big plays. If you go look at the game against with Jared Goff, for instance, on the other side of the ball, he completed like 90% of his passes, and it was only like 4 deep ball. If that, it might not have been 4, but it was maybe 3 or 4 deep balls out of the entire game. Everything else was making sure you hit your routine layups. Caleb is not there yet. And this offense, specifically in Ben Johnson's offense, it is predicated on hitting the layups because it sets up the bigger play. And if you're not going to do that, then you're in trouble trouble, brother.
Bro, that was the point I was gonna get to, John. So what Caleb is doing now, and the young quarterbacks that I work with, they go completely on the other side of the spectrum where it's like now you won't take a shot. Now you get to that first 15 and it's like, now you got all the SpongeBob's in your head, like, whoa, I gotta do something else. Yeah. And so what to Sky's point, to Sky's point, I think that Ben would say, because just knowing how Ben operates, even knowing his background, he had a background in IT, right? He's very programmed in that way. It has to be a certain way or he can't do it. I think Ben would say, listen, I can't do it with this guy. Like, he's too much of a loose cannon. And
man,
John,
that's a lot of talent to go to the front office and admit that.
The biggest thing about the quarterback position with him, John, last point, Sky, his body language sucks. He has terrible body language,
I'm
and
sorry,
that is terrible.
Like Jay Cutler all over. It sounds like Jay Cutler, man. Like Jay Cutler was phenomenal, and I'm using him because he was in Chicago, one of the best passers of the 2000s, the 2010s, whatever, of the football. Shitty body language, awful leadership. Play off. He had more far of a F you. I don't care about what you say. I'm going to do me. And guess what, John? He was good at some of that.
If we're being completely honest, it's my favorite kind of quarterback. I loved Caleb Williams coming out.
He's such a FU quarterback.
I loved watching Jay Cutler. I love watching Matthew Stafford. Like those are my favorite kind of quarterbacks.
Sure, just as long as they ain't my quarterback.
Did you like Josh Rosen?
Matt
John?
Different, bro. No. Don't do that to Matt. Yeah, don't do that.
Josh
to Matt.
Rosen. Remember Josh Rosen? He was
that was my example. Josh Rosen got traded when they said, "Oh, this ain't gonna work."
Yeah,
traded Josh Rosen's ass about it there.
Got him. Hey, so good stuff, guys, on the offense, and like John said, the defense.
Now watch this. Jalen, he gonna go out there and throw for 350 and 3 touchdowns on our head.
If you tell me that Russell Wilson can throw for 450 and throw and including big time passes when there's under a minute to go, when you should completely have that shut off, then it would not surprise me all if whatever.
It wouldn't surprise me either. But but it's the good time. I still agree. It's a good time to catch this offense.
It's a good time.
Maybe, but on the flip side, might be a good time to catch this Cowboys defense.
Let's talk about the defense. So here are the notes that I wrote down. Good layup there, Sky. Talk about hitting the layups. Here are my notes, guys. It's gonna take like a minute, and we can probably leave because these guys aren't good. Grady Jarrett has been a disappointment. Let's start there. They signed this guy to be better. He just hasn't been. Good versus the run, and he hasn't really given you much pressure. That's like one of the biggest things that I saw in films. Like, oh, Grady Jarrett used to be a nice player in Atlanta, and it hasn't translated for him. Jermon Dexter, he's been below average, and Montez Sweat has been a nice player, but he just hasn't been able to get home. He's one of those push the pocket, run down your face, but the bend just hasn't been there. If I was them,
I'd put him on Steele's side all game. I wouldn't even.
Yeah, the power, right, Scott? Yeah, impressing him. So that's what I had on the D-line. Tremaine Edmonds, disappointment. Complete dud for them. And when he was with Buffalo, he was a little bit better. He hasn't been good. Like Scott said, them losing TJ Edwards is a big loss. And him not playing, I guess, is a big. But the big one that people aren't talking about is they haven't had Kyler Gordon. Kyler Gordon was like a really glue piece for their defense. So him not being out there, and of course, you guys already talked about it with Jalen Johnson. That is where this team stinks. Nashawn Wright stinks. Tyreek Stevenson stinks. Like
Kevin Byard is food.
Kevin Byard is food. And I remember Tyreek Stevenson coming out of Miami. Same way, Sky. Long, try to get hands on you, but he just can't turn and run. Same with Nashawn Wright. And then my last thing was Dennis Allen is a really good coordinator. I
love Dennis
Allen.
He
doesn't have the horses, and you could tell. He doesn't even want to play this style of defense, but oh, come on, bro. You know we do this still. He doesn't want to play this style of defense, John, but he can't because he has I don't want to call these guys out their name, but it's bad. It's bad.
Kyler Gordon is dealing with a hamstring. He hasn't practiced this week either.
He ain't playing. From what I was researching, I think Ben said him and TJ are week to week. So you're not going to see them out there. But you're absolutely right about Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen wants to play cover 2 man. He wants to put 2 safeties up there, and he wants to man up across. Just think about the games, and we played the Saints when the Saints had horses. They had those, the Davenport, Cam Jordan, They had a couple dudes up front.
DNs that are just
They had the
spanky.
linebackers, right? Davis, and then they had Lattimore in his prime, and they had a couple. And who was it? Marcus, I forget his name, but they had, and Jenkins.
Oh, Marcus Williams was on the roof.
Yeah, so he said, we're gonna play. We're gonna man up, be physical with you, and we can get after you with 4. And they gave the Dallas Cowboys some rough games from it wasn't always pretty, but he's playing a whole lot more zone than he's ever done. He plays a little more man than Dallas, but he's been way more conservative than Matt Eberflus. He is blitzing actually at a much lower rate than Matt Eberflus. They've only blitzed at an 8% rate. And I wonder if Dennis Allen just says F it and he kind of dips into his Saints bag and tries to heat up Dak. The problem is, though, Dak has obliterated blitzes so far in the season. He has absolutely crushed it when you try to put pressure on him or you try to blitz him. And he's always been that way. He's going to see it coming from a mile away unless you disguise it. And they're not there yet. They're not there to be that disguisey defense. It's very much Matt Eberflus still type of things going on over there. So, I mean, astute point and observation by you, Foots.
I just think, Sky, they're a very talent deficient team. Like, on every level of the defense, and that's hard when you're a good DC because it goes back to what we said. Like, literally both coordinators are in the same predicament. No, let me not say the same, because I would say the Bears offense has way better players than the Bears defense. And to be honest with you, Ryan Poles has done a terrible job building that defense because they expected Grady Jarrett to be better than this, and he just hasn't been. And then, you're depending on guys like Tyreek Stevenson to play better than this, and he's just not good, Sky. Oh, my God. I mean, if you talk about, I know CeeDee Lamb is a great receiver, but what your boy in Detroit did to him still, who has the podcast,
bro.
He looked like Jerry Rice, bro.
I'm sitting here. So with, by the way, we talked about Turpin playing. I was battling myself today, like, man, do I want Turpin in the slot? Do I want him CeeDee Lamb in the slot? I'm sitting thinking like, who? Because I think they both can get off, but man, I think this could be a game where you might see predominantly, I don't say it might be, but I would think about predominantly CeeDee Lamb in the slot because the over routes absolutely own them. The drag routes, the play, we didn't even get to that part. I felt like every time they ran either play action or some form of misdirection, it was curtains for the defense. It was curtains. So, and I'm like, man, this looks like Dallas. Dallas runs misdirection, play action. And when they didn't, early in the games, in both games, by the way, Minnesota and in Detroit, when they played a little bit more straight up, ironically, the Bears were a little better. So I would say continue to do a lot of that motion that Dak is playing well with. I think he's second in expected yards over, yards over expectation, second in the league to, I believe, Matt Stafford, who plays in a very similar offense. So I would just keep attacking him with the creativity. And you should be, I said this on Twitter, right? You should be able to move this ball. You should be able to score. They're 29th in red zone defense right now. So as long as you get in that red zone, you'll be able to get points.
John?
I already said best defender they have is the weather. If that's the best thing they would have going for them.
Just looked over. Make 0284 says so. Turpin is a go for Sunday. It seems like he's going to.
Yeah. Unless he has some setback in the next 48 hours. But I don't. The way he was talking today at his locker, it certainly sounded like that. The only way that he wouldn't play is if this is just what I'm reading between the lines with him, is like if the equipment or the training staff said to him, hey, this is a neck injury. It could become worse if you play. But from what he was saying, it's not a neck injury. It's more of a shoulder trap injury. And so because of that, there's not the long-term, concerns. And so because of that, it's more of a pain tolerance thing. And it's not that he's playing constantly in pain. It's that if it gets aggravated, then he might have to play through some pain there. So he sounded like that he's going to be playing.
Real quick on something you said earlier about how they pulled him out of precaution because they thought it was neck. I was thinking, I wonder if this was a do or die type of game in the regular season or the postseason that they would say, well, let's actually run this test right now, because if it's not a neck and because I'm matching Turpin Price said, I just feel, it's just it hurts, but I'm fine. And like, no, neck, we got to get you out. But if it really was just muscle and he was he was fine. I wonder if they roll him back out there.
Yeah, it's tough though,
do or
because
die
any
game.
like head or neck injury type thing, they're not gonna.
It's play
it's
around with
about
that.
more than just coming back this season. It's about like,
Life.
the effects on your life. And so that's why I bet you there's certain things that when a player says something, I mean, they do have a very long time training staff. I'm sure there's some pain he was feeling or something he was feeling where they're like, yeah, that sounds like that's more than just your typical stinger. And it's something that you were dealing with last week. We didn't know that at the time. He told us that today. So that's probably why there was the extra precautions on that. That it was like, okay, take him out of the game. Let's make sure, let's give this a couple of days, and so that we can really get the right imaging on it. Let's not mess around with this thing,
And Sky, I remember you saying this in the offseason or around training camp time. Turpin is going to have a big role in this offense, and it looks like they're making a good effort to not only use him on gadget stuff, but he caught the touchdown pass. He looks better doing receiver stuff, so he's a piece, man.
Question. Do
you think Al Harris will play in this game? No, sorry, go on.
Can Al Harris save these guys?
Right.
Because of I just think he's very important to this offense. Do you then start to say, well, maybe we start to part-time him on specialty?
That's a great question. And
have you guys felt like there was a return yet this season? I know it's only been 2 games that was even close to being like a big return.
Yes. He had a couple big returns, but if freaking Clark doesn't get in his way, he might still be running.
I don't like the way the special teams looks outside of kicking, but that's another show. I don't think we covered. Do you guys think that we've covered kicks well this year?
We've not. I mean, statistically, we haven't.
Yeah, I didn't even know the numbers, Scott. I'm just looking at it like, dang, they get into the 40, they get into the 30. Like, maybe it's just me. I don't know. But you know what? To answer that question, Sky, the way Turpin looks and the way Dak's playing, I would consider that. And now what I don't want to see is Jalen Tolbert back there.
No,
so find me somebody else with juice.
I will say,
way to get Blue out there.
I will say though, if you want to build up the guy's confidence, put Jalen Tolbert out against the Chicago Bears defense. It might be exactly what they need.
Catch the damn ball. Hey, Sharon said, I hope that we do not underestimate these Bears. Look, fans can underestimate all we want. But the players,
it's not my job to get up for the
game. Like we gotta stop this because players we're 1-1. We're going on the road against a very.
This a must win for them. Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh, you got to win too. You want to go down 1-2 and be, So like they're not in there underestimating the Bears. Like fans can say whatever we want to say, but they're not under. I can tell you that right now.
Can I also say I love us on the road? I don't know what it is. I've heard that it's going to be a lot of Cowboys fans there. I just love this team on the road. Like, just something about it. So I feel great about the game, honestly. I think that your underestimation game, let's be honest, at least this defense, they had to go in there sleep against Russ.
That's the other thing. What underestimation can the defense do? They got to improve.
Man. Because I'm going to tell you this. I had Matt Eberflus's back. Me and Sky had a nice fight. If he goes out there and doesn't try something new and doesn't try to heat him up and it starts looking like Caleb. If Caleb's throwing for 350 yards, we got to have a conversation. So these guys need to not underestimate. These guys need to go out there and play football. So
revenge game factor too. Like Flus ain't gonna tell us. He ain't gonna tell John. He ain't gonna tell Chill.
You should tell me.
We wish he did. I bet you he at the crib like, oh yeah, if it's one game on this damn schedule where I'm going to throw the kitchen sink and we're going to look good, it's got to be against the Bears. If not, then where's the competitive fire? Because they fired your ass.
Fired you completely. So, hey, man, what a great show. If you guys are listening to this on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast, just leave us a 5. Leave it. You know what, Sky? Leave us a 10-star rating. I don't even know if they have one, but click the 5 stars.
Twice. Do it 2 times.
I was about to say, click the 5 and then go in the comments and say, I'm leaving you guys 10-star. Cowboys Collective, the best podcast in the world. Law, we miss you. Get back next week. Nothing's wrong with him, y'all, by the way.
I was about to say.
I definitely was about to give it. Prayers up for Law. He's at the bar. Law drive home. Say,
somebody did something similar on Twitter when it was like I think it was Tyler Smith or somebody had an injury and it was like out for the season. Oh, what you mean out for the season? They're like, no, this was last year. Like, don't lead like that, though, bro. Like, don't lead like that. What are we talking about?
Get well
No,
soon.
no. I
Get
also
well
saw
soon, Law.
someone tweeted that the way that it was. It might have been Guyton, but it was
Guyton,
like
that's what it was. It was Guyton.
it said missed this session, like
Oh,
that
yeah, I
session,
saw
like
that,
that
yeah.
practice.
It
and
looked
someone
like this
said
season.
It's missed the season.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
dog, come on, chill.
No, that was hilarious. But great show, guys. It's Foots as always. For Sky, for John, we will see you guys next week to talk about this game. I got a prediction really quick. Cowboys win 40-17. Big game.
I'm
Big
thinking
game, another
31-30. That's what I've been going with.
31-30. I got 40-17. What you got, Sky?
27-14.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cowboys.
Cows win. See you guys next week. We love you all. Peace. That's law. Get home safe, Law.